Coming up on today's episode of Airborne Unlimited, Steve Dickson was sworn in as the new boss of the FAA. GAMA published 2019 second quarter aircraft shipment data. A Louisiana woman was arrested after shooting at a mosquito control airplane. And the first female F-35C pilot is selected by the U.S. Marine Corps. Welcome, I'm Sophie Herlock. On Monday, Steve Dickson was sworn in as the administrator of the FAA. Here's a short clip from the ceremony.
I, Steve Dickson,
do solemnly swear
that
I will support and defend
the
Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which I'm about to enter. So help me God.
Former Acting Administrator Dan Elwell will now be the Deputy Administrator for the FAA. GAMA published their mid-year industry update with the release of the preliminary second quarter 2019 aircraft shipment and billings data. The Piston market continued to lead the increase in deliveries at 567 units, up 15.2% from the same period in 2018. Business jet shipments increased by 12.5% in the first 6 months of 2019 to 316 airplanes delivered. Turboprop airplanes declined in deliveries from 260 to 231 units from the same reporting companies. The value of airplane deliveries was $9 billion, an increase of approximately 12.9%. Piston rotorcraft shipments declined from 149 units to 110 units. The industry delivered 299 turbine rotorcraft, a reduction of 11.3% compared to 2018. The value of rotorcraft shipments was $1.5 billion, a decline of approximately 13.1%. Stick around because today's Around the Patch is coming up right after these messages.
Concorde's recombinant gas RG series sealed battery technology produces a high-performance battery with the advantages of being pre-tested and fully charged at the factory. Find out more about Concorde's entire line of batteries at www.concordebattery.com. Concorde, the heart of your aircraft.
The Sling 2, a modern, economical flight training airplane for today's pilots. 120-knot cruise, sporty handling, sliding bubble canopy, modern glass panel, and dependable Rotax power. Available in LSA or kit versions. Check it out at airplanefactory.com.
Welcome back. It's time for today's trip around the patch, where we'll be taking a quick look at some interesting stories coming out of the aviation industry. The FAA is investigating an incident in which a Boston MedFlight pilot fell asleep while transporting a patient from Martha's Vineyard to a hospital in Boston. The pilot, who is no longer an employee with Boston MedFlight, overflew his destination and landed without incident. No one was injured in the accident, and Boston MedFlight says its internal investigation determined fatigue was a factor. Air Force Chief of Staff General David Goldfein said the Air Force is getting a handle on its pilot shortage, which had grown as high as a 2,000 pilot deficit among active duty and reserve units. Goldfein credits a change in the flying schedule for at least part of the reversal. Pilots are now spending an average of 20 hours per month actually flying, and the Air Force would like to see that number increase. The Aircraft Electronics Association released its second quarter 2019 Avionics market report. The total worldwide business and general aviation avionics sale amounted to more than $1.5 billion, as reported by the participating companies. The figure represented a 14% increase in total sales compared to the first 6 months of 2018. During the months of April, May, and June, sales increased 14.8% compared to the same timeframe 1 year ago. Dorothy Olson, who is one of the over 1,000 women to complete the WASP training program during World War II, passed away on July 23rd at the age of 103. Dorothy was one of the only 38 surviving WASPs, and she flew 61 missions for the 6th Ferry Group in nearly 24 different aircraft types, including the P-38, P-51, and B-17. We'll be right back with the rest of the news.
There's a difference between charting a steady course and pushing for the ceiling. And for nearly a century, Hartzell Propeller has been defining that difference. It's in our passion for engineering and research and our dedication to testing the limits of performance. We are built on honor. We are Hartzell Propeller.
Today is a new dawn.
With a new name.
Un nuevo logotipo.
A new factor.
Und einen globalen Kundenfokus.
We are Continental Aerospace Technologies, and we stand behind you.
A woman in Monroe, Louisiana was arrested after admitting to firing 3 shots at an airplane that was conducting a mosquito control flight near her home. 40-year-old Stacy Nguyen Rogers used a pistol to try and bring down what she thought was a drone flying over her property. Luckily, none of the shots fired hit the airplane. Rogers was arrested and charged with illegal use of a weapon, and officers noted she was intoxicated when she was brought into the local jail. She was later released after paying a $500 bond. First Lieutenant Catherine Stark has been selected as the U.S. Marine Corps' first female candidate for F-35C training. Stark completed flight school and was awarded her wings on August 2nd at Naval Air Station Kingsville in Texas. She will begin 9 to 12 months of F-35C training at the Navy's F-35C Fleet Replacement Squadron in Lemoore, California. Stark said she feels blessed to have been chosen and that she doesn't want to downplay it, but doesn't think it's that big of a deal. And while the first female Marines are entering the F-35 pilot community, others have come before them. In 2015, then Air Force Lieutenant Colonel Christine Mao became the first female F-35 pilot in the program. And then in 2018, Air Force Major Rachel Wienecke was the first woman test pilot to fly an F-35. And that was our last story of the day. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe, tweet, and like us. For the latest aviation aerospace news any time of the day, head over to aero-news.net. I'll see all of you right back here tomorrow for an episode of the AMA Drone Report.